Look, I know what you're thinking. Every week there's a new GPT killer or some super AGI that is supposed to be the final version of intelligence. We have been sold this idea that if we just throw enough GPUs and enough data at the problem, we will eventually build a god in a box. A perfect flawless machine that never misses. But here's the cold hard truth that the Silicon Valley doesn't want to admit. AI is never going to be perfect. In fact, it can't be. Like, you ask it a simple question and it confidently gives you an answer that sounds right but is completely wrong. And the scary part, it doesn't even know it's wrong. If you have ever used AI, you have seen it. One minute, it's genius. Next minute, it is your group project partner who did nothing and still talks the most. So here's the real question. Can AI ever be perfect? Or we are chasing something that is fundamentally impossible? Today, I'll give you 10 reasons why AI can never be perfect. So stick to the video till the end because the last reason is something that you might have never imagined. Right now, the internet is obsessed with AI. It writes essays, it codes apps, it can even help diagnose diseases. And naturally, we assume give it a few years, and boom, the perfect intelligence. No mistakes, no bias, no limits. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Perfection and AI don't go together. Not because AI is weak, but because of how it actually works. Let's start with the foundation. AI learns from data, and the data comes from us. And us, humans, are not exactly perfect. We are biased, we are emotional, we are inconsistent. Sometimes we don't even agree on basic facts. So when AI learns from human data, it doesn't become perfect. It becomes a reflection of us. There was actually a case where a hiring AI system started favoring male candidates because it was trained on the past hiring data which already had bias. So yeah, AI did not become smarter than humans, it just inherited our bad habits. And this is just the first problem. It gets worse. Here is something most people don't realize, that AI doesn't understand anything. Yes, it doesn't know things. It doesn't think like you. It doesn't even understand what it's saying. All it does is predict based on patterns. It's like your phone keyboard. You type I love and it suggests you. Does your keyboard understand love? No, it just predicts the next word. And that's AI, just on steroids. This is literally how models like language AI work, predicting the next word based on the probability. So technically, AI is just really good at guessing. And sometimes it guesses very wrong. This brings us to one of the weirdest problems. AI hallucinations. This is just a fancy way of saying AI makes stuff up. There have been real cases where lawyers used AI for legal research, and it literally generated fake court cases completely made up. Let me tell you a real story. In 2023, a lawyer in New York was working on a case against an airline, and like a lot of people, he decided to use AI to speed up the things. He asked AI for legal references, and AI gave him multiple case laws to support his argument. They looked legit and sounded legit. It even had the detailed explanation, so the lawyer trusted it and submitted everything to the court. And the other side tried to verify the cases and could not find them because they did not exist. The AI literally made up those cases. And the worst part, when the lawyer asked an AI, are they real cases? It said yes. The case is called Marta versus Avianca, and the court actually sanctioned the lawyers for submitting completely fake citations generated by AI. Imagine trusting your assistant so much that you walk into the court with imaginary evidences. And if you think it was just a one-time mistake, it happened again. This time involving a very high-profile name, Michael Cohen, the former lawyer of Donald Trump. He used AI to help with legal research. And just like before, the AI generated case citations. Some of them did not exist, fake again. These citations were later found to be generated by AI tools and submitted without proper verification. And here's the scary pattern. These were not random people. They were professionals, and they still got fooled. Imagine going to the court with "Trust me bro" as a source. The scary part is not that AI makes mistakes, it's that it makes them confidently. And confidence without understanding, that's a dangerous combo. Now let's talk about something that you have definitely seen. AI generated video and images. At first glance, they look insane, like almost real. But then you notice something is off. Extra fingers, melting faces, objects bending into each other like a fever dream. It's like AI knows what a hand is but not how many fingers it should have. And that's because AI doesn't actually see the world. It doesn't understand physics, it doesn't understand anatomy, it doesn't understand reality. It is just stretching the patterns from millions of images, trying to guess what looks right. And when it comes to videos, it gets messier. Objects randomly change shapes, people morph mid-frame, background doesn't stay consistent. Because consistency over time is way harder than generating just an image. And this shows something important, that AI can imitate reality, but it does not understand it. Now let's move to something even more personal, talking to AI. You have probably used voice assistants or even had full conversations with AI. And at first it feels smooth, natural, almost human. But then it says something weird. You ask a simple question and it gives an answer that technically makes sense but completely misses the point. It's like talking to a person who listens but doesn't completely get you. And that's because human communication isn't just words. It's a tone, context, emotions, body language, and shared experiences. And AI doesn't truly experience any of that. It processes language, but it does not feel meaning. That's why sometimes AI voices feel almost human but slightly off. Like a robot that took acting classes but cannot cry on command. It can misunderstand sarcasm, miss emotional cues, or respond in ways that feels disconnected. And that is a big deal because communication isn't just about being correct, it's about being understood. Now let's step outside the internet and come back to the real world, because reality is messy. Take an example of self-driving cars. A self-driving car can be trained on millions of scenarios. But what happens when something unexpected occurs? A signal glitches, rain blocks sensors. These are called edge cases, and the real world is full of them. You can't train AI for everything because not everything can be predicted. Life doesn't come with the patch updates, and that alone breaks the idea of perfection. Here is another subtle but massive problem. AI follows instructions exactly as given. If you tell an AI to write a script to maximize engagement, it might start prompting outrage, drama, or even misinformation. Because it's not asking, is this good? It's asking, does this meet the goal? It's like that overachieving intern. You said to increase the views, so now everything is a clickbait. This is known as alignment problem in AI, and solving it way harder than it sounds. Now let's talk about creativity. AI can write poems, generate art, compose music, but is it actually creating? Not actually, it's remixing. It pulls patterns from millions of existing works and combines them in new ways. Humans create from experience, emotions, memories, chaos. AI did not have that heartbreak phase at 2 a.m. And that difference matters more than you think. Here's another problem. The world doesn't stay still. New trends, new technologies, new information. AI is trained on past data, and the future doesn't always look like the past. What worked yesterday might not work today. It's like studying for last year's exam and getting a completely different paper. And that gap never disappears. Now you might be thinking, okay, but AI is improving fast. And you're right, it is. Better models, better data, better results. But improvement is not the same as perfection. A calculator is perfect at math, but it is completely useless at understanding the life. And AI falls somewhere in between. Alright, here's something almost nobody talks about. Even if we wanted perfect AI, we cannot physically afford it. AI doesn't run on magic, it runs on compute. Massive data centers, thousands of GPUs, and the insane amount of electricity. Training one advanced AI model can consume as much energy as hundreds of homes. And that's the catch. To make AI more accurate, we need more data, more compute, and more electricity. And perfection, that would require practically infinite compute. So unless we plug the AI directly into the sun, we are going to hit the limits. There is something called diminishing returns in economics. At first, improvements are fast, but over time, you spend 10 times more resources for just 1% better results. Going from 80% accuracy to 90% is doable, but going from 99 to 100%, that's where the things get really hard. It's like exams. Going from 60 to 80 is easy, but getting that one last mark, that's where your soul leaves your body. And that is a hard physical limit, not a software bug. There's a point where the cost of perfection becomes unrealistic. And that's when you realize that the perfect AI isn't just a technical problem, it's an economic one. Now let's talk about something deeper. Even if AI becomes perfect, would you trust it? Probably not. Imagine this, you go to a doctor and AI says you are perfectly fine, but your body feels off. Now, do you trust AI or your instincts? Of course, your instincts, right? Because the trust is not built on accuracy alone. It's built on understanding, experience, and human connections. AI can give the right answers, but it can't explain the way a human does. It can't say, I have seen this before. It can't feel uncertainty. It can't share lived experience. And it definitely can't say, bro, something feels off. Let's do it again. That is why in high-stake areas like medicine, laws, aviations, AI is used as a tool, not as a final authority. Pilots don't blindly trust autopilot. Doctors don't blindly trust AI diagnosis. Because when the things go wrong, someone has to take responsibility. And AI can't take responsibilities. Perfection isn't just about being right, it's about being accountable. And until AI can do that, there will be a gap. Maybe the real problem isn't AI, it's the idea of perfection. We live in a world that is unpredictable, messy, and full of uncertainties. And perfection doesn't belong in a world like that. You can build smarter systems, faster systems, and most powerful systems. But a perfect system, that's a different story. So yeah, AI will keep getting useful, smarter, and better, but perfect, probably not. Because it's learning from us and we are still figuring out ourselves. So here is something I want you to think about. Would you even want a perfect AI? One that never makes mistakes, never questions itself, never surprises you? Or is it those imperfections that make intelligence real? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.